The rest of my life, stay on for the rest of my life. All right, welcome into the live, everybody. Welcome into the live. Happy Thursday morning to everybody. I want to say thank you all so much for coming in. Thank you all so much for stopping by. I sincerely appreciate each and every one of you. And it is that time again when we continue to read the Bible. We are on a quest to read the Bible for ourselves, to familiarize ourselves with its content, because after all, the Bible is very influential on not just our spiritual lives, but our lives in general. No matter no matter what aspect of your life, you can find that the Bible has had some influence on it, whether it's money, relationship, um, morality, whatever it is, even the law, even if you go to court, if you have to go to court for just about anything, the law that they're going to use to judge you has some biblical roots. And so we have taken on this challenge to read the Bible page by page by page, so that we can know what is in it, and no one can tell us what's in there, because we would know it for ourselves, whether it's there or not. So every morning we come here on my channel and we spend just about an hour or so reading the Bible. We are currently on the book of First Samuel, and in yesterday's reading, we saw where Saul went with the servant to go look for his father's donkeys who had gone astray. And they had been searching for 3 days, going from town to town, looking for those donkeys, and to no avail. And then they decided, well, they heard that there is a seer, that's a fortune teller or something like that, living close by. And so they decided that they were going to go to see this seer, to see if this seer would be able to tell them where the donkeys are. Now, don't forget that in their culture, it was the norm. It was the norm to assist your neighbor. They were quite neighborly. So if your neighbor saw your animals going astray, it was a part of their religious responsibility to bring the animals back. But as I was discussing the whole thing with, my hip, the next side of my hip, y'all don't need to know who is the next side of my hip. But anywho, as we were discussing that, and she said, God was leading them, Trev, so that explains why they could not find the donkeys and why they were searching for that long, because God was leading them to a particular destination. And that destination was to go find Samuel the seer. Because after they had discussed between them about consulting the seer, they went to Samuel, and God had already told Samuel that these people were going to come to see him, and he was already prepared for these people to show up. And so Saul and the servant showed up at Samuel's place, trying to get Samuel to tell them exactly where, in his ability to fortune tell, where the donkeys are. So this morning we are going to be continuing with the reading. But before we do that, if you are new here, a very, very special welcome to you. Thank you so much for coming in. Um, if you are a returning traveler, I want to say thank you for your continued support. Okay, if you have your book Bible or your Google Bible, please follow along. Follow along so that we can all be on the same page. And if you have any questions, you are free to ask them in the chat. And since I'm no theologian, we are just doing ourselves a good favor, I believe. If you have any additional literature regarding what we are reading, you are more than welcome to put it in the chat, or you can always contact me on on WhatsApp, on Facebook, on TikTok, on YouTube. You can always find me. Just send me a message, and we will get it through. All right. So welcome again, everybody. Let us begin. We are on to First Samuel chapter 10. Then Samuel took a vial of oil. All right. Now Saul and the servant are with Samuel at this point. Okay. So let's see what happens. Chapter 10 of First Samuel. Then Samuel took a vial of oil and poured it upon his head and kissed him and said, "It is not because the Lord hath anointed thee to be captain over his inheritance. When thou art departed from me today, then thou shalt find two men by Rachel's sepulchre in the border of Benjamin at Zelzah. And they will say unto thee, the asses," that's the donkeys, "which thou wentest," you know the language of the Bible, this wentest, gozettes, and all of this. Um, I'll try to read it in modern day language so that we all understand what we're reading here. All right. Verse 2. Samuel says to Saul, "When thou art departed from me today, then thou shalt find two men by Rachel's sepulchre in the border of Benjamin at Zelzah. And they will say unto you, the donkeys that you went to find are found. And lo, your father has left the care of the donkeys and cries for you, saying, What shall I do for my son?" So Samuel says to Saul, "Listen, when you leave here," remember, he anoints Saul now. He anoints Saul with oil. He says to Saul, "Go your way. But when you leave here, you are going to find two men by Rachel's sepulchre at the border of Benjamin and Zelpah. When you find those two men, they are going to tell you that the donkeys that your father sent you to go look for have been found. And now your father is no longer worried about the donkeys. He's now worried about you." And that's because Saul had been gone for days just to find a couple donkeys. And he hasn't come back. So now his father is worried. He hasn't gotten any word about Saul. What has happened to him? So now his father is terribly worried about him. Did some animal eat him? Did they capture him, take him into slavery or something? His father is quite worried. Now we are on to verse 3. Oh, my hip is in the house. God, what's up? Gay, how are you doing? Good morning. Good morning, my loves. Good to see you. Verse 3. Then shall you go on forward from thence, and thou shalt come to the plain of Tabor, and there shall you meet three men going up to God in Bethel, one carrying three kids. and another carrying 3 loaves of bread, and another carrying a bottle of wine. So this is Samuel telling Saul what his future is. When you leave here, you're going to find 2 men at Rachel's sepulchre. They are going to tell you that your father has found the donkeys that you went to look for, and now he's worried about you. You are also on your way back. When you reach to the plain of Tabor, you are going to see 3 men. One is going to be carrying 3 kids. We mean 3 goat kids, We don't mean children. One is going to be carrying 3 kids. Another is going to be carrying 3 loaves of bread. And another is going to be carrying a bottle of wine. And they will salute you and give you 2 loaves of bread, which you shall receive of their hands. All right. So now he's telling them that these men are going to give Saul 2 loaves of bread, which you shall receive of their hands. After that, thou shalt come to the hill of God, which is the garrison. Watch out, only know the word garrison in the Bible. Only didn't know the word garrison in the Bible. No wonder where the garrisons come from, where the word garrisons come from. I tell you all plain and straight that everything that we are experiencing in our lives has a biblical connection. Who would have thought the word garrison was in the Bible? But here it is in the book of 1 Samuel. As far as I can remember, this is the first time I'm seeing the word in the Bible. Verse 5. After that, thou shalt come to the hill of God, where is the garrison of the Philistines. And it shall come to pass, when thou art come there to the city, that thou shalt meet a company of prophets coming down from the high place with a psaltery, a tablet, a pipe, and a harp before them, and they shall prophesy. Oh, God said it sounds like a party about to go down. Exactly. They got goats, they got bread, they got wine. Something's about to happen. Not sure what. But let's see. He says when he goes on, he's going to come to the hill of God. This is the garrison on the edge of the Philistines, on the edge of the Philistines' place. He's going to see some prophets coming down from the high place, and they're going to have a psaltery, tabret, pipe, and harp. Verse 6. And the Spirit of the Lord will come upon you, and you shall prophesy with them, and shall be turned into another man. Okay. And let it be, when these signs are come unto thee, that thou do as occasion serve thee, for God is with thee. And thou shalt go down before me to Gilgal, and behold, I will come down unto thee to offer burnt offerings and to sacrifice sacrifices of peace offerings. 7 days shalt thou tarry till I come to thee and show thee what thou shalt do. Okay. This is Samuel talking to Saul. Verse 9. And it was so that when he had turned his back to go from Samuel, God gave him another heart, and all those signs came to pass that day. And when they came thither to the hill, behold, remember Samuel told Saul that he was going to come to that hill of God and that he was going to see the prophets? Okay. Verse 10 says, and when they came thither to the hill, behold, a company of prophets met him, and the Spirit of God came upon him, and he prophesied among them. And it came to pass when all that knew him before time saw that, behold, he prophesied among the prophets. Then the people said one to another, what is this that is come upon the son of Kish? Is Saul also among the prophets? So the people are wondering what has happened to Saul. All in a sudden, all in a sudden, Saul has become a prophet, and they never heard nothing of him being a prophet before. He go to go look for donkeys, and he come back as a prophet. Let's continue. And one of the same place answered and said, but who is their father? Therefore it became a proverb. Is Saul also among the prophets? And when he had made an end of prophesying, he came to the high place. And Saul's uncle said unto him and to his servant, whither went he? They asked him, where did you go? And he said, to seek the asses, that means to look for the donkeys. And when he saw that they were nowhere, he came to Samuel. And Saul's uncle said, tell me, I pray thee, what Samuel said unto you. And Saul said unto his uncle, he told us plainly that the donkeys were found, but of the matter of the kingdom whereof Samuel spake, he told him not. Okay? So for those of you who are here, so Saul's uncle asked him, where have you been? What happened when you went to see Samuel? And he told him what Samuel said about the donkeys. But he never said what Samuel said about him being going to be prophesying with the prophets that he shall meet coming down from the hill of God. So he kept back some of the story. He ain't tell his uncle the whole story. Now we on to verse 17. And Samuel called the people together unto the Lord of Mizpeh, and said unto the children of Israel, thus said the Lord God of Israel, I brought up Israel out of Egypt, and delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians, and out of the hand of all kingdoms, and of them that oppressed you. And he have this day rejected your God, who himself saved you out of all your adversities and your tribulations. And he have said unto him, nay, but set a king over us. Now therefore present yourselves before the Lord by your tribes and by your thousands. And when Samuel had caused all the tribes of Israel to come near, the tribe of Benjamin was taken. Okay. And when Samuel had caused all the tribes of Israel to come near, the tribe of Benjamin was taken. All right, let us continue to see why that was so. Verse 21. When he had caused the tribe of Benjamin to come near by their families, the family of Matri was taken, and Saul the son of Kish was taken, and when they sought him, he could not be found. Therefore they inquired of the Lord further, if the man should yet come here. And the Lord answered, behold, he hath hid himself among the stuff. I don't know what kind of stuff. But they inquired of the Lord, where was Saul? They said he had hid himself among the stuff. That simple showing not a long. Exactly, gay. Exactly. Verse 23 said, and they ran and fetched him, And when he stood among the people, he was higher than any of the people from his shoulders and upward. And Samuel said to all the people, See, he who, see him whom the Lord hath chosen, that there is none like him among all the people. And all the people shouted and said, God save the king. Then Samuel told the people the manner of the kingdom and wrote it in a book and laid it up before the Lord. And Samuel sent all the people away, every man to his house. And Saul also went home to Gibeah, and there went with him a band of men whose hearts God had touched. Verse 27, and this is the last verse of chapter 10. But the children of Belial said, How shall this man save us? And they despised him and brought him no presents, but he held his peace. That is the same way how you will find that some political leaders, they are despised by one community. Remember, I talked about the garrisons earlier, and we know how garrisons are run. They have one particular political loyalty, and the person who leads that party is their they reverence this person like he's their deliverer, he's their savior. It's the same mentality. But the other party, like we know how it goes in Jamaica, like the other party, the leader of the other party is hated tremendously. And so everybody seek to have their own garrison area where the people look up to them. So here, Saul wasn't popular at all. Saul was not popular at all when he went home to Gibeah, because the people, the children of Belial, had said that, they don't know who him is. They don't know who he is. So they despise him and they didn't bring him any presents. Despite the fact that the prophecy had just come true, that he was prophesying. He was going to be a prophet, and God had changed the heart of the men so that they could follow him and not harm him. Kat, Lurleen is here. Lurleen, what's up? Good morning. Kat says they called the tribe of Benjamin forward, which Kitch was from, and Saul hid himself. Hmm? They called the tribe of Benjamin forward. Verse 20 says, And when Saul had caused all the tribes of Benjamin to come near, the tribe of Benjamin was taken. I don't get what you're saying, Card. Explain that to me some more. Because I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you're saying. Because he called Samuel called the tribe of Israel to come closer. Is that what I'm understanding from this come near means to come closer? And the tribe was taken. But I don't see who took them. Who took them, Card? Or maybe you have read it before. I've read some other literature. Let's read all that again. Let's read all that again so that we are all on the same page and we all understand. Verse 19 said, And ye have this day rejected your God. Okay, he called all the children of Israel, tribe by tribe, and chose the tribe of Benjamin, which Saul was from. Okay, now I get you. Now I get you. Okay. Now I get you. But it didn't take Saul. And he have this day rejected your God, who himself saved you out of all your adversities and your tribulations. And he have said unto him, Nay, but set a king over us. Now therefore present yourselves before the Lord by your tribes and by your thousands. Okay, so there we have it. So the children of Israel are presenting themselves according to their tribes in front of their God. Now I get what you are saying, God. And when Samuel had called all the tribes of Israel, okay, so he called all everybody, tribe by tribe, he called them all near to come near. All of you come according to your tribe. And then the tribe of Benjamin was taken. When he had caused the tribe of Benjamin to come near with by their families, the family of Matri was taken, and Saul the son of Kish was taken. And when they sought him, he could not be found. Therefore they inquired of the Lord further if the man should yet come thither. And the Lord answered, Behold, he hath hid himself among the stuff. Okay, so they were taking the tribe to which Saul belonged, and he, not wanting to be taken, he hid himself among the stuff. Okay, let us continue. We are now moving on to chapter 11 of the book of First Benjamin, of the book of the book of First Samuel. I was looking in the chat and I saw the word Benjamin and I thought about the book of Benjamin. That is funny. But I meant the book of First Samuel. Now we are on to chapter 11. Then Nahash the Ammonite came up and encamped. God says, is that one of the last books, the book of Benjamin? It probably is. Who knows? It's probably one of the lost books. Who knows? Let's move on to chapter 11, guys. Then Nahash the Ammonite came up and encamped against Jabesh Gilead. And all the men of Jabesh said unto Nahash, Make a covenant with us, and we will serve thee. Boy, them desperate for a king, they will serve anyone and anything. Remember, they were uh, um, asking Samuel to get them a king, to appoint them a king. Now they're asking Nahash to be their king. And Nahash the Ammonite answered them, On this condition will I make a covenant with you, that I may thrust out all your right eyes, oh my God, and lay it for a reproach upon all Israel. And the elders of Jabesh said unto him, Give us 7 days respite. I mean, give us 7 days to think about it, that we may send messengers unto all the coast of Israel. And then, if there be no man to save us, we will come out to thee. You know hear what Nahash tell them? If you don't want me to be uno king, you have to make a pledge. So when you do anything wrong, me I go dig out to no eye. Them say, hold on now. Give us 7 days. We are going to ask all the people all along the coast of Israel. We're going to ask everybody what they think, who they think, who they think should be our king, and then we will get back to you. All right. They want some time to think about it. Verse 3, And the elders of Jabesh said unto him, Give us 7 days respite, that we may send messengers unto all the coast of Israel. And then, if there be no man to save us, we will come out to thee. Then came the messengers to Gibeah Remember, Saul is in Gibeah, guys. Don't forget. Saul is in Gibeah. Then came the messengers to Gibeah of Saul and told the tidings in the ears of the people. And all the people lifted up their voices and wept. And behold, Saul came after the herd out of the field. And Saul said, what aileth the people that they weep? He said, why are all these people crying? And they said, and they told him the tidings of the men of Jabesh. And the Spirit of God came upon Saul when he heard those tidings, and his anger was kindled greatly. And he took a yoke of oxen and hewed them in pieces, and sent them throughout all the coast of Israel by the hands of messengers, saying, whosoever cometh not forth after Saul and after Samuel, so shall it be done unto his oxen. And the fear of the Lord fell on the people, and they came out with one consent. These people lived in such fear, boy, I tell you. And the people around them who wanted to be their judges and their leaders knew that the people were so afraid of their God, they used it against them all the time. So you will find that repeatedly, the Bible says, and the fear of the Lord. The people were deathly afraid. The word fear and afraid is used so much to gain control, to have these people. It is unbelievable. I think the only thing these people were preoccupied with was their fear. And they realized that as humans, they could not keep all those precepts. They couldn't keep them because they were human and there were so many. If you walk wrong, if you stand up wrong, if your nose big, if your eye cast, if you're 1 foot shorter than the other, if one hand shorter than the other, if you steal, if you lie, if you sleep with somebody's husband, if you look funny on somebody's wife, if every single thing they did, there was a punishment. So they just lived in fear. Things that they could control and things that they couldn't control. Because remember around there in around Genesis or Exodus, we read where you were an outcast. If your nose was broad, you were an outcast. If you were short, you were an outcast. For anything, you were subjected to punishment. You see, God say all the things you are not in control of. Exactly. Because you're not in control if you're short. You're not in control if your nose broad. All I can me, them would have stoned me to death with this a hell of a nose for my face. Oh, Jesus. My word. Let us continue. We're on to verse 8. And when he numbered them in Bezek, the children of Israel were 300,000, and the men of Judah 30,000. Holy mackerel. And they said unto the messengers that came, thus shall he say unto the men of Jabesh Gilead, tomorrow, by this time the sun be hot, he shall have help. And the messengers came and shewed it to the men of Jabesh, and they were glad. Therefore the men of Jabesh said, tomorrow we will come out unto you, and he shall do with us all that seemeth good unto you. And it was so on the morrow that Saul put the people in 3 companies, and they came into the midst of the host in the morning watch, and slew the Amorites until the heat of the day. You know, the Israelites and the Amorites and the Ammonites and all of them, the Moabites, they're always fighting. Always fighting. And it came to pass that they which remained were scattered, so that two of them were not left together. So there was this war here between the Israelites and the Ammonites, and there was a great slaughter. That means the Israelites won the fight, they won the battle, and they slaughtered so many that the others that were left, they ran away, scattered so much that two of them did not go in the same direction. Every man went on his own direction, went in his own direction. Verse 12 of chapter 11. And the people said unto Samuel, who is he that said, shall Saul reign over us? Bring the men, that we may put them to death. And Saul said, there shall not a man be put to death this day, for today the Lord hath wrought salvation in Israel. Then said Samuel to the people, come, and let us go to Gilgal, and renew the kingdom there. And all the people went to Gilgal, and there they made Saul king before the Lord in Gilgal. And there they sacrificed sacrifices of peace offerings before the Lord. And there Saul and all the men of Israel rejoiced greatly. Okay, that's the end of chapter 11. We see in chapter 11 where there was a great battle between the Israelites and the Ammonites, and the Israelites won. And now, um, and now Samuel has taken the people along with Saul. They have taken the people to Gilgal, and they have started a whole new, established a whole new living there with all these people. And Saul is now made king over Israel. So don't forget, over the Israelites. Now don't forget that Saul is now king over the Israelites in Gilgal. Joseph is here. Blessings, my dear Jojo. How are you doing? AG is here as men. What can I say? My two men coming in the chat at the same time. Why AG tell me say? Me not cheering you. And you are going to tell me the same thing. How are you all doing? AG, stay safe on those streets, my love. I hope everybody's having a fantastic morning as we are reading the book of First Samuel. We are now moving on to chapter 12. And Samuel said unto all Israel, behold, I have hearkened unto your voice in all that ye said unto me, and have made a king over you. Remember, people, the people still, remember the people, they revere Samuel. They love Samuel. Whatever Samuel tell them to do, they will do. Samuel has been ruling over them since he was a child. And now he's an old man, but he still has a lot of power over the people. He's almost like, it's like how the people them run behind the Pope. And whatever the Pope said them run go do it, you like that. That's how Samuel. What AG said, two men, hell no. I'm your one and only. Just like that. I agree. Okay. Let's continue on chapter 12 and verse 2. And now behold, the king walks before you, and I am old and gray-headed, and behold, my sons are with you. And I have walked before you from my childhood unto this day. Behold, here I am, witness against me before the Lord and before his anointed. Whose ox have I taken? Or whose ass have I taken? Or whom have I defrauded? Whom have I oppressed? Or of whose hand have I received any bribe to blind mine eyes therewith? And I will restore it to you. So here Samuel is telling them, if I have offended any of you in any way, let me know. Tell me now, because I am now old, I am gray headed. I cannot travel and tarry with you all much longer. I cannot go the long distance with you all anymore. But my sons will be with you in your journeys. But tell me, have I offended anybody? Have I taken anybody's ass? Have I judged anybody wrongly? Have I defrauded anybody? Have I taken any bribes from anybody and enacted false justice? No, well, that's an oxy. um, and administered false judgment against anybody, or because I was bribed? Talk to me, people. Tell me, have I done any of this? And if I have, I will make that wrong right. And they said, Thou hast not defrauded us, nor oppressed us, neither hast thou taken aught of any man's hand. And he said unto them, The Lord is witness against you, and his anointed is witness this day, and he have not found aught in my hand. And they answered, He is witness. And Samuel said unto the people, It is the Lord that advanced Moses and Aaron, and that brought your fathers out of the land of Egypt. Now therefore stand still, that I may reason with you before the Lord of all the righteous acts of the Lord, which he did to you and to your fathers. When Jacob was come into Egypt, and your fathers cried unto the Lord, then the Lord sent Moses and Aaron, which brought forth your fathers out of Egypt, and made them dwell in this place. And when they forgot the Lord their God, he sold them into the hand of Sisera, captain of the host of Azor, and into the hand of the Philistines, and into the hand of the king of Moab, and they fought against them. Here he's reminding these people that when you don't follow the precepts of the Lord, he punishes you. He tells you he sells you to another set of oppressors, just like he had sold your fathers into slavery in Egypt. He had sold your forefathers into slavery in Egypt, and he has done the same to you all. He has sold you to the Philistines. He sold you to the king of Moab. Sold you to Sisera. You have been sold over and over again, and still not learning. And I don't think it's because they are not learning. It's because they are humans, and their human flaws from which they cannot escape is always used to judge them. That's just what it is. All right. Samuel walked pure before God. Samuel walked pure before God, but Samuel never bring up him son them right. He walked pure before God, all right. But his sons, let us continue. And they cried unto the Lord, saying, Samuel walked pure before God. Let us continue. And he cried unto the Lord and said, We have sinned because we have forsaken the Lord and have served Baalim and Ashtaroth. Remember, Baalim and Ashtaroth were the gods of their captors. And we have served Baalim and Ashtaroth, but now deliver us out of the hands of our enemies, and we will serve thee. So you hear them bargaining with God. They're trying to bargain with God. Say, listen, we have been serving these other gods, the gods of our captors. So hear what? If you, how you say you love us so much, yet you are always delivering us into the hands of our enemies, always making people putting us into slavery, always having these Gentile people having dominion over us. But yet you say you love us so much. So because they are having dominion over us, then we are serving their gods. So this is the deal. Deliver us out of their hands so that we can serve you. This is them bargaining with the Lord. Verse 11 says, and the Lord sent Jerubbaal. And the Lord sent Jerubbaal and Bedan and Jephthah and Samuel, and delivered you out of the hand of your enemies on every side, and he dwelled safe. And when he saw that Nahash, the king of the children of Ammon, came against you, he said unto me, nay, but a king shall reign over us, when the Lord your God was your king. Now therefore, behold, the king whom ye have chosen, and whom ye have desired, and behold, the Lord hath set a king over you. You understand where the idea of this king come from? Having a king over you, a queen over you, somebody to rule over you, to tell you what to do, where to go, how to do it, and how to go. You can raise your kids well and they still go astray. We can identify. Yes, God. You can raise your kids right and they can still go astray. That is very, very true. Well, I don't know, but Joel and Abia, they weren't living up to what their father taught them. And guys, for those of you who don't know, Joel and Abia are Samuel's sons. All right, let us continue. Now therefore, behold, the king whom ye have chosen, and whom ye have desired, and behold, the Lord hath set a king over you. If he will fear the Lord, and serve him, and obey his voice, and not rebel against the commandments of the Lord, then shall both he and also the king that reigns over you continue following the Lord your God. But if ye will not obey the voice of the Lord, but rebel against the commandments of the Lord, then shall the hand of the Lord be against you, as it was against your fathers. Okay, so that's what I was talking about. How if they disobey, these commandments and these many precepts and statutes, how they were dealt with so harshly. Now therefore stand and see this great thing, which the Lord will do before your eyes. It is not what harvest today. Is it not wheat what do I ask this morning? Is it not wheat harvest today? I will call unto the Lord, and he shall send thunder and rain, that he may perceive and see that your wickedness is great, which ye have done in the sight of the Lord in asking you a king. Okay. So the Lord said to them, it is wheat harvest to them. You're going to make it rain fall so hard that you can't even gather up the wheat. And when the rain wet up the wheat are going to start rotten. So you not going to have no wheat at all because you too wicked. You come here asking for another God, for another king, asking for another king when I am supposed to be your king. I'm going to deal with you all like I dealt with your forefathers. Mighty God of Daniel. Let's move on to verse 18. So Samuel called unto the Lord, and the Lord sent thunder and rain that day, and all the people greatly feared the Lord and Samuel. Poor people, them, they live in fear every day. Verse 19 said, and all the people said unto Samuel, pray for thy servants unto the Lord thy God, that we die not. For we have added unto all our sins this evil to ask for a king. So the people them now have to come back to Samuel, come beg him. The people them ask for a king. Samuel goes to the Lord, tell the Lord, so the people them ask for one king. The Lord get vexed and say, they have the audacity to come asking for a king when I am supposed to be their king. Watch me and them, watch me and them, watch me and them. I'm going to send a piece of lightning and thunder upon them, you see. So the poor people them come back to Samuel, come beg Samuel. Samuel, go back go ask God no. Tell God to tap the rain and the thunder here for we no, please. We sorry. We not gonna ask one king no more. All right. Let us read again verse 20. And Samuel said unto the people, fear not, he have done all this wickedness. Yet turn not aside from following the Lord, but serve the Lord with all your heart, and turn ye not aside, for then shall he go after vain things, which cannot profit nor deliver, for they are vain. For the Lord will not forsake his people for his great name's sake, because it had pleased the Lord to make you his people. Verse 23, moreover for me, God forbid that I should sin against the Lord in ceasing to pray for you, but I will teach you the good and the right way. So Samuel knows that if he stops praying for the people, that's going to be a transgression, because he has to go to God to intercede on their behalf. Because the people, them, you remember in a Moses time, then call them stiff-necked, hard ears people, ears them tough like a rock. And the people, them ears not tough, The people, them just can't keep up. Verse 24, only fear the Lord and serve him in truth with all your heart, for consider how great things he hath done for you. Verse 25, but if he shall still do wickedly, he shall be consumed, both you and your king. That is the end of chapter 12 of the book of First Samuel. So y'all see, my people, listen, everybody here now on the chat. I know of recent days there has been an uptick in people who are concerned about the Bible and whether or not they should go by the precepts and concepts of the Bible, because we weren't raised to question the Bible. We weren't raised to question anything that the Bible says. We were raised to follow blindly, go to church every Saturday, every Sunday, and Wednesday night service and Friday night service and all those things, and question not, just go along with it. But nowadays we have found that a lot of people are questioning whether or not all of these writings in the Bible were written for us, were relevant to us, and how much of it should we take to heart. And I'm sure in the years to come, more and more people are going to be questioning these things. When you read something like this now, when I read something like this, and it says, if I ever go against what the Lord says to do, I am going to be dealt with. Me, I go deal with you, you know. Me, I go consume you. It makes you afraid. And I had posited the question before about whether or not people were really going to church and trying, because all you can do is try to follow the Bible. All you can do is try. You see the arduous task that it is. The children of Israel, they couldn't follow, and now the people are confused. God say Him love us. He say we are His chosen people. Every turn we turn, though, we are the ones being put into slavery by the quote unquote enemy. Then what is? What is? How if we continue to serve Him when Him do all of this to us? And you cannot blame the people for questioning. Because if your mother, if you do something and your mother punishes you, but the punishment is so harsh. The punishment seems like it not fit the crime. Wouldn't you consider whether or not your mother love you, even though she give you food to eat, she give you a roof over your head, she give you clothes to wear, all those things. But when you do something wrong, the way how she beat you and take iron and burn you and cigarette and out it pan you and you don't you think you would ask yourself if your mother really loves you? And so here we see the children of Israel continuing to question their loyalty to their God, who says that they are the chosen people. But yet, every slip up means a beat down. If them slip up and them go into war, them lose. If them whatever it is that they do that is against the Lord's precepts and commandments, they are punished so severely. That's why every opportunity they get, they are serving other gods. Everybody who put them in a bondage, they quickly abandon their God and start serving their captors' gods. Trev, he was not enlightened to certain. Well, that is true too. That is true. But Trev, what is it that we really want? Great question, because we had everything in the Garden of Eden and was told not to eat of one tree, and that's the one we went after. Well, I guess because we are humans. I guess that's what it is. And we're still going after the tree in the Garden of Eden. We're still going after that tree. We're still going after that tree, my friend. Oh my God. Let's move on to chapter 13. I hope you all are following me and I hope you all are enjoying the reading as much as I am enjoying bringing it to you guys. It's my absolute pleasure to come here each morning and read the Bible so that we all can get an understanding of what the Bible really, really says. All right, intermission. Okay, let us continue. Chapter 13. Saul reigned 1 year. Saul reigned 1 year. And when he had reigned 2 years over Israel, Saul chose him 3,000 men of Israel, whereof 2,000 were with Saul in Mishmash and in Mount Bethel, and 1,000 were with Jonathan in Gibeah of Benjamin. And the rest of the people he sent every man to his tent. And Jonathan smote the garrison of the Philistines that was in Gibeah, and the Philistines heard of it. And Saul blew the trumpet throughout all the land, saying, Let the Hebrews hear. So you know they use the trumpet for communication a lot, because remember when we read Nehemiah, how Nehemiah used the trumpet to alert everybody that the enemies were upon them, and he also blew the trumpet so they can gather. Guilty as charged. I agree. We're still in the Garden of Eden, still hunting for that fruit. That's in the Garden of Eden that we were told not to eat. Um, let's do this. Verse 4. And all Israel heard say that Saul had smitten a garrison of the Philistines, and that Israel also, the language here, guys, and all Israel heard say that Saul had smitten a garrison of the Philistines, and that Israel also was had in abomination with the Philistines. That can't be what it's supposed to say. Was had. I'm sure that's not what it's supposed to say. And all Israel heard say that Saul had smitten a garrison of the Philistines, and that Israel also was had in abomination with the Philistines, and the people were called together after Saul to Gilgad. I'm sure this must mean that that Israel also had an abomination with the Philistines, and the people were called together after Saul. I'm sure that must have been a typo right there, because I've never heard of that was had. Uh-uh. That's not even just bad English. That had to be a typo there. Verse 5. And the Philistines gathered themselves together to fight with Israel, 30,000 chariots and 6,000 horsemen, and people as the sand which is on the seashore in multitude. And they came up and pitched in Mishmash, eastward from Bethaven. When the men of Israel saw that they were in a strait, for the people were distressed, then the people did hide themselves in caves, and in thickets, and in rocks, and in high places, and in pits. The people them hide from the Philistines, because the Philistines are coming in their numbers as the sand is on the ocean. They are coming. And some of the Hebrews went over Jordan to the land of Gad and Gilead. Y'all remember? People, you remember? For those of you who have been here. So we can have an imagination about, have a mental picture of where this war is going to happen. Remember, the children of Israel has crossed over the river Jordan. We established that a long time ago. Now, on the other side of Jordan, remember the Reubenites and the Gadites and the half of Manassites. Those are the children of Israel who live on the other side, where Moses had given them that land on the other side of the river Jordan. Now, over the side where is supposed to be the promised land, now this is where this the Philistines are coming up against the Hebrews. It says, and some of the Hebrew people went over Jordan. So some of them crossed back the river Jordan and went back into the land of God and Gilead. That's over there, back into the land of God, the Gadites, the Reubenites, and the half of Manassites. And all the people followed him trembling. Wow. As for Saul, he was yet in Gilgal, So Saul went to Gilgal. Some of the people hide under rocks. They were so afraid that the Philistines were coming. Them hide in caves, in bushes, in rocks, in pits everywhere. And some of them even take the journey, the treacherous journey, and went back across the river Jordan over into Gilead, where the Gadites, the Reubenites, and the half of Manassites were. And as for Saul, he he was still in Gilgal, and all the people followed him, trembling. And he tarried 7 days, according to a set time that Samuel had appointed. But Samuel came not to Gilgal, and the people were scattered from him. Remember, Samuel had appointed Saul to be king over the people in Gilgal. So now the people them following Saul everywhere he go, but they are afraid. They are trembling with fear because they know the Philistines are coming in their numbers, and they are worried the Philistines are going to are going to be victorious over them. And Saul said, "Bring hither a burnt offering to me, and peace offerings." And he offered the burnt offering. And it came to pass that as soon as he had made an end of offering the burnt offering, behold, Samuel came. And Saul went out to meet him, that he might salute him. And Samuel said, "What hast thou done?" And Saul said, "Because I saw that the people were scattered from me, and that thou camest not within the days appointed, and that the Philistines gathered themselves together at Michmash. Therefore, said I, the Philistines will come down now upon me in Gilgal. And I have not made supplication unto the Lord. I forced myself, therefore, and offered a burnt offering." And Samuel said to Saul, "Thou hast done foolishly. Thou hast not kept the commandment of the Lord thy God, which he commandeth thee. For now would the Lord have established thy kingdom upon Israel forever. But now thy kingdom shall not continue. The Lord hath sought him a man after his own heart, and the Lord hath commanded him to be captain over his people, because thou hast not kept that which the Lord commanded thee." So here is Samuel chastising Saul. Saul himself was afraid, that the Philistines were coming. He himself was afraid, and the people he was leading, the people were afraid as well. So imagine you being the leader, and you are afraid of the enemy, and the people you are leading are afraid of the enemy. You have to appear to be strong. You have to give the people some hope. So here he is offering a burnt offering. But Samuel said to him, "You are doing the wrong thing, man. The Lord is no longer going to have you lead his people. He's going to appoint a captain, somebody else." Verse 15, and Samuel arose and got him up from Gilgal unto Gibeah of Benjamin. So Samuel left Gilgal and went to Gibeah of Benjamin. And Saul numbered the people that were present with him, about 600 men. That is not going to be enough men to fight the Philistines, who are coming with 30,000 chariots and people as the sand of the sea. And Saul and Jonathan, his son. Okay, so Jonathan was Saul's son. Okay. So, and Saul and Jonathan his son, and the people that were present with them, abode in Gibeah of Benjamin, but the Philistines encamped in Michmash. And the spoilers came out of the camp of the Philistines in three companies. One company, one company turned unto the way that leadeth to Ophrah, unto the land of Shual. And another company turned the way of Bethoron, and another company turned to the way of the border that looks to the valley of Zeboim towards the wilderness. Now there was no smith found throughout all the land of Israel. For the Philistines said, lest the Hebrews make them swords or spears. But all the Israelites went down to the Philistines to sharpen every man his share, and his coulter, and his axe, and his mattock. So the Israelites are getting all of their weapons ready. Verse 21 said, yet they had a file for the mattocks, and for the coulters, and for the forks, and for the axes, and to sharpen the goads. So it came to pass in the day of battle that there was neither sword nor spear found in the hand of any of the people that were with Saul and Jonathan. But with Saul and with Jonathan his son was there found. Oh, really? So the people didn't have any weapon, but Saul and Jonathan did? Let's read that again, verse 22. So it came to pass in the day of battle that there was neither sword nor spear found in the hand of any of the people that were with Saul and Jonathan, but with Saul and with Jonathan his son were they found. So that's exactly what it's saying. So what happened? All the people going to war without any weapons? Why didn't the people have any weapons, but Saul and his son Jonathan had? That's strange. Verse 23, and the garrison of the Philistines went out to the passage of Michmash. Okay. Let's see what happens. The last chapter we're reading for today is chapter 14. Let's begin. Now it came to pass upon a day that Jonathan the son of Saul said unto the young man that bare his armor, come, and let us go over to the Philistines' garrison that is on the other side. But he told not his father. Honestly, Opitni can do things. So Jonathan did not tell his father Saul that he was going to take some of the people to go fight the Philistines. Him just pick it up on himself and decided that he was going to go. Grab some people and say, oh, no, come with me. Let us go over into the Philistines' garrison. Because go down in them ghetto. And this on the other side, let us see what is going on over there. But he didn't tell his father, so his father no say he's going. Verse 2. And Saul tarried in the uttermost part of Gibeah under a pomegranate tree, which is in Migron. And the people that were with him were about 600 men. And Ahiah, the son of Ahitub, Ichabod's brother, the son of Phinehas, the son of Eli, the father's priest, the Lord's priest in Shiloh, wearing an ephod, and the people knew not that Jonathan was gone. And between the passages by which Jonathan sought to go over unto the Philistines' garrison, there was a sharp rock on one side, and a sharp rock on the other side. And the name of one rock was Bozez, and the name of the other was Sene. Okay, so here it's talking about Jonathan on his way to go over into the Philistines' territory. He's going through some little passageway, some little walkway of the sort, and there were two rocks, one on one side, one on the other. One rock was called Bozez, and the other was called Sene. Verse 5. The forefront of the one was situate northwards over against Michmash, and the other southwards over against Gibeah. And Jonathan said to the young men that bare his armor, come, and let us go over into the garrison of these uncircumcised. It may be that the Lord will work for us. For there is no restraint to the Lord to save by many or by few. And his armor bearer said unto him, do all that is in thy heart. Turn thee, Behold, I am with thee according to thy heart. Then said Jonathan, Behold, we will pass over unto these men, and we will discover ourselves unto them. If they say thus unto us, Tarry until we come to you, then we will stand still in our place, and will not go up unto them. But if they say thus, Come up unto us, then we will go up, for the Lord hath delivered them into our hand, and this shall be a sign unto us. See how Jonathan is daring. You see how Jonathan is daring like some audience pitney, like him four parents, some of them audience. Uh-huh. So here now, he is going to take some men and go into the Philistines' territory. His father doesn't know where he's at, but he's going up there and saying, Well, the Lord don't cause victory based on the number of people you have. He causes you victory if he's on your side. So he could be on your side with two men, and he will cause you to conquer 200 men, and vice versa. So it's not how many men you have, it is whether or not God is with you. So come with me and let us go over there. Even though we are few, we're still going. All right. So let's see what happened to Jonathan when he goes into the Philistines' territory. Verse 11. And both of them discovered themselves unto the garrison of the Philistines. And the Philistines said, Behold, the Hebrews come forth out of the holes where they have been hiding. And the men of the garrison answered Jonathan and his armor bearer and said, Come up to us, and we will show you a thing. And Jonathan said unto his armor bearer, Come up after me, for the Lord hath delivered them into the hand of Israel. And Jonathan climbed up upon his hands and upon his feet. So you see him have to go up on the hill. So him have to imagine him climbing up on the hill on his hands and on his feet, and his armor bearer after him. And they fell before Jonathan, and his armor bearer slew after him. And that first slaughter which Jonathan and his armor bearer made was about 20 men. So just the two of them, just Jonathan and his armor bearer slew 20 men within, as it were, an half acre of land, which a yoke of oxen might plow. So about a half an acre of land where those 20 men were stationed, and Jonathan and his armor bearer were able to slay 20 of them. And there was trembling in the host. So the people them afraid now. Here comes another warrior. This must be like another Samson. They trembled in the field, and among all the people, the garrison and the spoilers, they also trembled, and the earth quaked. So it was a very great trembling. And the watchmen of Saul in Gibeon of Benjamin looked, and behold, the multitude melted away. And they went on beating down one another. Then said Saul unto the people that were with him, Number now, and see who is gone from us. And when they had numbered, behold, Jonathan and his armor bearer were not among them. And Saul said unto Ahijah, Bring hither the ark of God, for the ark of God was at that time with the children of Israel. Or you all remember that the Philistines had taken away the ark of God, and they had had a fierce fight, and they were able to the Philistines, during all those fights, they kept losing and losing and losing, and they figured, well, I guess we are losing because we have this ark. We have this ark of the covenant, the ark of God that belongs to the Israelites. We have it in our possession. And I figured this is what is causing the curse on us. Y'all remember that? We read that earlier. And so they had brought it back. and given it back to the Israelites. So Saul said to Ahijah, bring hither the ark of God, for the ark of God was at this time with the children of Israel. And it came to pass, while Saul talked unto the priests, that the noise that was in the host of the Philistines went on and increased. And Saul said unto the priest, withdraw thine hand. And Saul and all the people that were with him assembled themselves, and they came to the battle. And behold, every man's sword was against his fellow, and there was a very great discomfiture. Moreover, the Hebrews that were with the Philistines before that time, which went up with them into the camp from the country round about, even they also turned to be with the Israelites that were with Saul and Jonathan. So they were having such great victory over the Philistines that even the people, because by this time they were intermarrying. There were people who had gone over to Israelite people who had gone over to be with the Philistines, and that's where their loyalty were. There were men who were married to Israeli women and Israeli women who were married to Philistine men. So there was a lot of interracial, intertribal marriage, if you will. And here it is saying that even the people who had gone over to the Israelite people who had now pledged their loyalty, and they didn't come to follow Saul. They still stayed over there, staying loyal, um, worshiping Baal and Ashtaroth over on that side with the Philistines. They too recognized that their loyalty really was with their people, the Israelites. And so they came over, switching loyalty. Y'all know about that when I'm talk about the garrison, right? Where people switch loyalty. hmm So these people were coming over now, switching loyalties, coming over to fight with the Israelites, but not against them. Okay, let us continue. Verse 22 of chapter 14 of the book of First Samuel. Likewise, all the men of Israel, which had hid themselves in Mount Ephraim, when they heard that the Philistines fled, even they had followed hard after them in the battle. So you remember the number of Philistines came, but here the few men, remember I said it was only 600 of them, with Saul fighting fighting the Philistines, and here they are being victorious. So the Lord saved Israel that day, and the battle passed over unto Beth Aven. And the men of Israel were distressed that day, for Saul had adjured the people, saying, cursed be the man that eateth any food until evening, that I may be avenged on mine enemies. So none of the people tasted any food. See, none of the people eat any food, because Saul said, if you ever take a morsel of food, we're going to lose the battle. So nobody should eat anything. And all they of the land came to a wood, and there was honey upon the ground. Honey again. Y'all remember honey? Y'all remember that Samson found honey in the dead lion? Now they said they find piece of wood, honey is in it. Verse 25, and all they of the land came to a wood, and there was honey upon the ground. And when the people were coming to the wood, behold, the honey dropped. But no man put his hand to his mouth, for the people feared the oath. So the people feared the oath that they had taken, that they shouldn't eat any food, because if they eat anything, they could lose the battle. But how you gonna go a battle for an empty stomach? You're not bound to lose. Andrea is in the place, and Sister Winsome is in the place. Welcome. God said, where were they supposed to get the strength to fight if they didn't eat? Exactly. Exactly. And here they are passing by the woods, or would, I guess. And they see honey on the ground and they didn't even taste it. And the honey sugar would have given them some energy. They couldn't taste it because they were so deathly afraid. But Jonathan heard not when his father charged the people with the oath. Wherefore he put forth the end of the rod that was in his hand and dipped it in the honeycomb and put his hand in his mouth, and his eyes were enlightened. So Jonathan didn't hear his father. When his father Saul told all the people, no, don't eat nothing, because if you don't eat anything, we are going to lose the war. And his son not here. He didn't hear. So him taste some of the honey. And now his eyes were enlightened. That's another Adam and Eve story. Where they eat the apple and suddenly their eyes were open. And here comes Jonathan tasting the honey, and now his eyes are open. Then answered one of the people and said, Thy father straitly charged the people with an oath, saying, Cursed be the man that eats any food this day. And the people were faint. Then said Jonathan, My father hath troubled the land. See, I pray you, how mine eyes have been enlightened, because I tasted a little of this honey. How much more, if haply the people had eaten freely today of the spoil of their enemies which they found? For, for had there not been now a much greater slaughter among the Philistines? And they smote the Philistines that day from Michmash to Aijalon, and the people were very faint. And the people flew upon the spoil and took sheep and oxen and calves and slew them on the ground, and the people did eat with the blood. So you see how easily the people them forget the oath. Jonathan was the first one who tasted honey. So he's the one who they saw eat something that day. And they said to Jonathan, How comes you eating when your father make us swear and say we will not eat anything today? How comes you eat? Jonathan say, Oh, no, pay my father no mind. Oh, no, pay my father no mind. Because look, we just slaughtered a whole slaughter of Philistines. So we have been victorious. So why are we not eating? And so the people them turn upon the animals, the Philistine animals, and they did a great slaughter. And now they are all eating. Let's see what happens after that. Verse 32. And the people flew upon the spoils and took sheep and oxen and calves and slew them on the ground. And the people did eat them with the blood. Then they told Saul, saying, Behold, the people sin against the Lord, in that they eat with the blood. And he said, He have transgressed. Roll a great stone upon me this day. My God, Saul is so mad with the people. He tell them to just roll one stone upon him. Wow. And Saul said, Disperse yourselves among the people, and say unto them, Bring me hither every man his ox, and every man his sheep, and slay them here, and eat. And sin not against the Lord in eating with the blood. And all the people brought every man his ox with him that night, and slew them there. Because remember, it was against their commandments and tradition. They cannot eat the animal with the blood in it. They got to drain out the blood first before they eat the animal. And Saul built an altar unto the Lord. The same was the first altar that he built unto the Lord. Yard Foods, how are you doing, my love? So good to see you, my dear. So good to see you. I still have your friend running. Whatever his name, you're the one from Chilani. I still have him running. Verse 36. And Saul said, let us go down after the Philistines by night and spoil them until the morning light. And let us not leave one man of them. And they said, do whatsoever seemeth good unto thee. Then said the priest, let us draw near hither unto God. And Saul asked counsel of God, shall I go down after the Philistines? Wilt thou deliver them into the hand of Israel? But he answered him not that day. Now you want to go back to war against the Philistines, but you just all these people that are with you just um disobeyed their commandments. They just ate the food, all these animals with the blood. And now you want to go down to fight? You think you're going to be successful again? Let us continue and see what happens. Verse 37. And for those of you who are just coming, we are reading 1 Samuel chapter 14 at the moment. And Saul asked counsel of God, shall I go down after the Philistines? Wilt thou deliver them into the hand of Israel? But he answered him not that day. And Saul said, draw ye near hither, all the chief of the people, and know and see wherein this sin hath been this day. For as the Lord liveth, which saveth Israel, though it be in Jonathan my son, he shall surely die. But there was not a man among all the people that answered him. Then said he unto all Israel, be ye on one side, and I and Jonathan my son will be on the other side. And the people said unto Saul, do what seemeth good unto thee. All right. Yard food. Okay. Yes, yard food. You know how the thing goes. No problem, my love. But they are all defiled. Exactly, Card. Yeah, pussy, I wish I have the energy like you to wake up so early and do this. Maybe I need some iron. Well, check if you do. I mean, I'm usually a I'm usually a early riser, and I think it has come from my days of, always having to get up early, go carry water. Always have to get up early. Get up early, go carry water before water shut off. Me always have to get up early to go to school. When you have to walk 3 miles to reach a bus stop, I have to go catch bus to go to school. You have to get up early. So I get up early every morning. I always leave my house. Just as Alan Magnus coming on at 5 o'clock in the morning, me always leave in my house. If Alan Magnus start talking for 15 minutes, me late. Ah, boy. Let us continue. Let us continue. We are on to verse 39 of chapter 14 of 1 Samuel. For as the Lord liveth, which saveth Israel, though it be in Jonathan my son, he shall surely die. But there was not a man among all the people that answered him. Then said he unto all Israel, but he on one side, and I and Jonathan my son will be on the other side. And the people said unto Saul, do what seemeth good unto thee. Therefore Saul said unto the Lord God of Israel, give a perfect lot. And Saul and Jonathan was taken, but the people escaped. O Lord. And Saul said, cast lots between me and Jonathan my son. And Jonathan was taken. Then Saul said to Jonathan, tell me what thou hast done. And Jonathan told him and said, I did taste the little honey with the end of the rod that was in mine hand, and lo, I must die. And Saul answered, God do so, and more also, for thou shalt surely die, Jonathan. And the people said unto Saul, shall Jonathan die, who hath wrought this great salvation in Israel? God forbid, as the Lord liveth, there shall not one hair on his head fall to the ground, for he hath wrought with God this day. So the people rescued Jonathan, that he died not. Then Saul went up from following the Philistines, and the Philistines went to their own place. So Saul took the kingdom over Israel and fought against all his enemies on every side, against Moab and against the children of Ammon, and against Edom and against the kings of Zohab, and against the kings of Zobah, and against the Philistines. And whithersoever he turned himself, he vexed them. So Saul is now on a rampage. He's angry and he's fighting everybody around him. And he gathered a host and smote the Amalekites and delivered Israel out of the hands of them that spoiled them. Now the sons of Saul were Jonathan and Ishul. Is it Ishul or Ishui? That look like Ishui. Ishui. Now the sons of Saul were Jonathan and Ishui and Melchishua. And the names of his two daughters were these. The name of the firstborn was Merab, and the name of the younger was Michal. So Jonathan had three sons. Saul, forgive me, people. So Saul had three sons, Jonathan, Ishui, and Melchichua. And his two daughters were Merab and Michal. And the name of Samuel's wife was Ahinoam. Samuel's wife, not Samuel, Saul. Why do I keep saying Samuel? Good for the people for standing up for Jonathan. Exactly. When will this part of destruction and bloodshed end? I don't think it's ever going to end. See, it traveled generation after generation after generation. Because even until today, there is still slaughters going on over and everywhere. Look down there in Israel. Israel and Palestine are fighting tooth and nail all day long. There's always a fight. There is this perpetual conflict that remains between them. Okay, so let us read that again. Verse 48. And he gathered a host and smote the Amalekites and delivered Israel out of the hands of them that spoiled them. Now the sons of Saul were Jonathan and Ishui and Melchichua. And the names of his two daughters were Merab and Michal. Merab was the firstborn and Michal was the younger one. And the name of Saul's wife was Ahinoam. Ahinoam. Ahinoam, the daughter of Ahimaaz. And the name of the captain of his host was Abner, the son of Ner, Saul's uncle. Hold on there, guys, because I make notes as I go along. Verse 51. And Kish was the father of Saul, and Ner, the father of Abner, was the son of Abiel. And Ner was Saul's uncle. And there was sore war, verse 52. And this is the last verse of chapter 14 of First Samuel. And there was sore war against the Philistines all the days of Saul. And when Saul saw any strong man or any valiant man, he took him unto him. Here endeth the reading of First Samuel chapter 14. Guys, it has been an absolute pleasure for me reading this book for you all, reading the Bible. Here we see in Samuel, in the reading this morning, we have seen where Samuel um, has appointed Saul to be king over the people. The people love him, the people revere him, the people are following in his leadership. His son Jonathan is with him. He's also a fierce warrior, just like his dad. And they are going up against the Philistines. The Philistines are coming out against them in numbers with like 30,000 chariots and thousands of men ready to fight. They have their spears and they are ready to fight. And we see where the number of the children of Israel have dwindled to those who are at those who are with Saul at this time. They are a small number. And so they are worried about whether or not they should be afraid of the Philistines, considering that the Philistines have outnumbered them significantly. But Jonathan, him alone and his armor bearer, just the two of them, decides to take on the Philistines. And they took on the Philistines. And just him by himself, Jonathan and his armor bearer, slaughtered 20 of the Philistines' bravest and strongest men, just by themselves. And so Jonathan sort of gained his stripes, like, yeah, I'm mightyful, I'm powerful, they can't test me, I'm strong, I'm brave, I can take on 20 of them and slaughter all 20. Because listen, it is not the number of people that goes up against the enemy. It is who God is with. And God is with me. So therefore, I am going to win. And so he won that battle. But here he comes after that. And Saul has instructed the people that they shouldn't eat that whole day of battle. They are fighting, but they shouldn't eat. And Jonathan, because Jonathan and his armor bearer had gone off to go fight by themselves, they didn't hear the warning of Saul at all. They didn't hear when Saul told them that nobody should be eating that day. So when the people were there, the people saw honey. As hungry as they were, they didn't even taste the honey because they didn't want whatever curse that would follow. They didn't want it to come upon them. They didn't want to start losing the battle. So they were following Saul's instruction. They didn't eat anything. And here come Jonathan. And him eat the honey. Because he didn't hear the warning. As enough time warnings go out, and some of us don't hear it, you know. We don't hear the warning. Because we always gone our own way, doing our own thing. So after he ate the honey, and the Philistines were upon them, Saul said, let him and Jonathan, his son, stay on one side of the battle and let the people stay on the other side. The Lord said, well, Jonathan has to die. Because Jonathan was the one who ate something that day. But we have seen this all throughout the Bible. So Jonathan was right. When Jonathan tell him, say, don't listen to my father, no just Jonathan tell the people, say, when the people them say to Jonathan, how comes you get to eat honey and your father said nobody should eat anything? Jonathan said, no, no listen to my father here. No, just go and eat. How do I go be fighting and no eat nothing? And so the people them just started slaughtering goat and cow and everything that them can eat and ate. Now Jonathan was spared from being killed, which was a good thing in the end. he was spared from being killed. So he didn't die. And I thought way back when I heard a story that Saul's son died in battle. There must be some other battle. But we are going to continue reading the book of Samuel. We will continue tomorrow morning, same time, same place. I usually get up at 4 o'clock. Sometimes I start reading that early, but other times I go around and do other things before I start the reading, usually by 6 o'clock, 6:30 ish, somewhere around there. I usually start the reading. Oh, Jamaica Farmers Hut is here. Jamaica Farmers Hut, how are you doing, my love? So good to see you. Thank you so much for coming. Let me look for my tablet and let me see what I go on for my tablet right now with you. How are this? How are this? One chocho trying out my go live. Yeah, me see one chocho here, so because I've been running you all night. All right, so this going here, so don't worry yourself. Watch hours you want, watch hours you will get, Jamaica farmers. Yeah. All right, but welcome into the live. Winsor Card said, no, I meant he was right that it does not matter how many you have on your side. You will still. Exactly. Oh, okay. Now I get you. Yes, Card, exactly. It doesn't matter how many you have on your side. That's what Jonathan said to his arm bearer, right? No matter how many people on your side, as long as God is on your side, you will win. Even if it's 1,000 of them come up against two of you, you will you will win if God is on your side. Ay. And so that was the case with Jonathan and his father Saul. All right. So guys, that is going to be the end of the reading for today. We will come back later on. Hopefully, we will come back later on and do another live. But for right now, this is going to be it. This is going to be it for this morning. I sincerely appreciate each and every one of you who have come into the live, those of you who have participated in the chat, and to the newbies, Jamaica Farmers Hut, welcome. Thank you so much. And if there are any silent listeners out there listening, I want to say thank you so much for coming. I hope you all are enjoying the reading as much as I am enjoying bringing it to you. When we come back tomorrow, we will be reading from 1 Samuel chapter 15. That's where we will begin. So don't forget to come in tomorrow morning around the same time, same place, with your book Bible or your Google Bible, or just follow along as I continue to read the Bible for us. No, that is going to be it for watch a piece. I'm my silent. You're a silent listener. Well, that's good. I appreciate the silent listeners who listen, but they don't say anything. I appreciate y'all. And I want to say thank you so much for coming, each and every one of you. Now go ahead, guys, and have yourselves a great Thursday. We will talk later. Have yourselves a good day, everybody. Bye, guys. I will see you all later.